Hey everyone, good morning or good afternoon. It's Ankit Patel. Welcome to a brand new video. Today I want to talk about the real estate market and climate change. So if you're excited about today's video, then drop a like and subscribe. It really does help out with the channel and everything I'm doing. What do you think is going to happen to the real estate market and the housing market in the near future or in a couple months? Do you think it's going to keep going up? Do you think demand's going to still be there? Do you think foreclosures are going to be still the same amount, or you think there's going to be a lot more foreclosures? Let me know in the comments below and why. Let's try to hit 6,000 subscribers. With all that out of the way, let's get into today's video and talk about the real estate market. If you look at the home prices for Nevada, for example, let's look at this house. And about 3 years ago, it was at $350,000. And look at what its price is today. And they're saying it's for sale. So in Nevada right now, a lot of people bought the houses with money, and now they're trying to sell it, hoping to get some returns, but they're probably only going to get like $30,000 to maybe $35,000 because they bought with cash and hoping that the market would keep going up. But I think it's stabilizing now, and then they want to get rid of these houses quick because they paid with cash hoping to sell it and make a fortune. So if you look down here, here's the activity. It was sold in 2016 for $355,000, and then someone sold it again in 2021 for $636,000. If you haven't heard, lumber prices are crashing, and here's the article about lumber, and then how it's affecting Lowe's business and what it's doing to Lowe's business. Soaring lumber prices turn customers away who want to pay for something that's overvalued. So I know a lot of you guys are looking to buy a house or maybe thinking about it in the future. And a lot of you might be asking right now, why are the home prices so up? Why are they so high? And will they ever go back down? Here's a good article. Why are house prices up? Well, supply and demand. Right now, the inventory is low, and a lot of people want to buy houses right now, get out of apartments, stop paying rent every month. But when you go around, there's not that much inventory, and then you have investors that are buying it with cash, hoping to rent out the house or fix it up and resell it. And then you have other people that are using, down payments and using mortgages to buy a house. So I have some people asking me, why are lumber prices going back down when they were all the way up? Well, there was a demand for lumber back when, a couple months ago, when people are making houses, buying houses, and, renovating houses. But now, as you can see, according to this article, half of lumber dealers now sit on excess inventory in the US. And that's why the prices went back down. They got so much inventory, who are you going to give it to? And who's going to pay that much? And what are you going to do with it? And when they do get it? So, you gotta. It looks like Lakeland has the most overpriced houses and has one of the worst housing shortages. 9 Florida markets analyzed. Here is where they fell from most to least overpriced. Lakeland's on top. And if you look all the way at the bottom, you have Miami, Fort Lauderdale. You have Jacksonville over here, Orlando, Fort Myers, Tampa. So House Democrat proposes raising capital gain taxes to 28.8%, which I think regardless if you raise the taxes, is that going to solve the loopholes? Are you going to prevent the loopholes? Probably not. They're still going to use the loopholes to get around paying taxes. They're not targeting the right thing, which is the loopholes for these taxes. And they should be taxing the people that have been, avoiding paying taxes with these large companies and whatnot. They're the ones that should be paying these higher taxes because they're making more, right? But no, they're the ones actually paying almost about zero taxes or no taxes at all. But they're also providing jobs, so you have to look at it both ways. You can't just look at it one way. They are providing jobs too, endless amount of people. Like Amazon's providing jobs to streamers, shipping companies, people that want to start a small business. And then you have other companies that are doing the same, that are providing jobs to many people out there. So it's a sticky situation. You have to look at it from all different aspects. The housing market can look forward to a more boring 2022. So this article states that new home sales have fallen by 30% since January, with many builders simply running out of homes to sell in certain communities. Building permits fell by 15% between January and June. The National Association of Home Builders Housing Market Index, a gauge of builder sentiment, hit a 15-month low in August. One reason buyer demand and pricing are holding up is that affordability remains pretty good, perhaps a surprise to onlookers wondering how that could be possible given the amount of home price appreciation that's occurred since the start of 2022. Correction, 2020. Now looking at this chart, it shows giving rises in incomes and declining mortgage rates, the ability to afford monthly payments on a mortgage remains strong. Though rising prices do make down payments more challenging, suddenly surging rent prices also make buying more attractive option compared to renting a house still or renting an apartment. So even though home prices are high, mortgage interest rates have hit all-time lows. But right now, keep in mind, low inventory homes are available for sale. There was a demand for people wanting to buy homes that are moving to new locations, that found a job somewhere else. Right now we have job openings that are pretty high. But we also have people that don't want to work because they're used to getting the stimulus checks, making more from stimulus than going to work. And right now we have the lowest interest rates in history to go out and buy anything and everything that someone wants to buy. The government has bailed out so many people with their home payments or from defaulting or foreclosure. That means the homes are not going to be foreclosed, so you won't see it. But another thing you want to do research on is, yes, the interest rates are low, but the price of the home is maybe 60 or even 50,000 times not times, but 50 or 60,000 more than what the original price is. So is the interest rate really going to affect the value of the house when you're going to buy it? So here's a chart of new home construction rises but remains below peak. I know so many people that had their homes made this year, some who are still waiting for their homes to be completed because the people that are making it are overcharging them or finding ways to jack up prices on anything and everything, and then going back on the agreed deadline or date that they're supposed to have the house ready and coming with excuses. So it's weird how one side of the party holds to their agreement and then the other side of the party gets their money for the construction and then can't follow through on the deadlines. I understand if there's like a hurricane or something like that, but it's in contract and they're already overpaying you for the material. And now we have lumber prices which are going back down, which a lot of the prices for lumber were like ridiculous a couple months ago. Here's a chart of how fast homes were selling. Homes were flying off the market at a record speed. Something you should consider when you're buying your house or the next location you decide to move is the climate change. You should be prepared for it. With all the issues that we have nowadays with climate, and then also pollution. Are we also in a climate foreclosure crisis? Today, the mortgage market relies heavily on the insurance industry to gauge its risk. But most of the mortgage industry risk models are focused on credit and operating risk. Let's say you wanted to buy a house and it's near a flooding zone. Like, now we have climate change we have to worry about. Not only that, in a couple years, with all the water that's melting down in the polar areas, I think that we could see some of the outside areas everywhere around the world underwater, because the rising tide has been increasing a couple inches every year so far with all the ice melting and everything. So that's another concern we have when we're considering foreclosures and the housing market that I don't think people are considering. The cost of estimated defaults are the centerpiece for banks, lenders, investors, and mortgage servers to assess profitability, as well as loan loss, reverse, and economic capital. Americans are pissed about the housing market. They haven't hated it this much in 4 decades. With all the low inventory, like I said earlier in this video, with low interest rates, trying to buy a house is very expensive right now. And then you have inflation to worry about on top of that, which right here talks about not just homes but cars and goods too, with the chip shortage also to consider. So there's a lot that's going on and to keep in mind. Speaking of natural disasters and climate change, here's another article about how a fire destroyed homes and displaces thousands near California, and the wind keeps sweeping the fire and making it grow. Here's exactly how much economists think home prices will rise in 2022, whether you should buy now. Home prices are expected to rise, but they are up so much. How much home prices rise? The National Association of Realtors revealed that home prices will likely climb 5.5% in 2022. Taylor says that while the company reported the home sales grow 16% in August, the teams view it as the price growth will slow to about 13% during the last few months of this year relative to 2020. Zillow home value to increase 4.7% over the next 3 months, August and November. August 2022, up 11.7% from August 2021. Should you buy or should you wait? It just depends on everyone's situation. Some people get new jobs and have to move somewhere else. If that's your case, then you got a family too, and you just have to buy a house. Or if you're an investor, then if you find a good deal on a house and you want to fix it up and resell it, then do it if you have the means, and if you think the house has potential. If not, just wait, because eventually when we stop printing more money and giving out stimuluses, people might have foreclosures and everything. So we just have to be more aware of that. So mortgage and real estate news this week: updates on the hot housing market and what to make of inflation. The hottest and coolest housing markets. It's that time of the quarter again. Rising home prices squeeze down payments, savings. With real estate prices going up rapidly in most markets, buyers are finding the money they saved isn't going as far towards their purchase as they might like. What to do when you inherit rundown property. Finding out you inherited rundown property can go from an exciting financial boost to a major headache, depending on how bad the property condition is, what needs to be repaired, do you have the funding for it, how inflation affects the housing market. Inflation is basically a fancy way of saying prices are going to go up, doesn't matter what you do. In my opinion, if you have an asset, most likely the price is going to go up with that asset during inflation, and that includes real estate right now. As you can see, the prices for houses are like 60 or 70,000 above market. A guide for first-time home buyers. Although the current housing market inarguably favors sellers, that doesn't mean it's not the right time to buy if the numbers seem right. It just depends on everyone's situation, like I said earlier in this video, and depends how badly you need it. Or if you have a family and you're moving and you need a place to live.